What's going on, Jerome's? So, Diamond Dan Campbell gave the world the gift of the ultimate Monday morning quarterback thing of should Campbell have gone for it? Should he have not? When the Lions passed up on 2 field goals, not gimme field goals, but 2 field goals in a game that they ultimately lost by 3. Now, here's the problem. Like, everyone sees the score in a vacuum. Like, the game wouldn't have changed if the Lions would have made the field goals, but it is what it is. But here's what I love. So Dan Campbell is like the Moses of the analytics community. Oh, you got to go for it every single time because except Dan Campbell is not an analytics dude. Look at this man. Do you think he's doing high level math on the sidelines? No. Like his whole thing is like, let's go for it. As opposed to, well, if you take the remainder of the 6 and square root of no. It's not it, man. It's not it. Now, a lot of the discourse is, well, Dan Campbell lost the Lions game. Well, no, there was drops, there was fumbles, there was missed tackles, and of course this ended up being a catch by Brandon Ayuk. I love it, man. I mean, this is almost as bad as the Caleb Evans interception turned into Josh Palmer touchdown. Almost up there, man. But there's a couple factors that you have to go into, and we're going to dive into the discourse just a little bit because I don't necessarily blame Dan Campbell, and also this is who he is. Sometimes he's too aggressive to a fault, as evidenced by the 2-point situation with the Cowboys game. And a lot of people say like, well, I respect Dan Campbell for sticking to his guns. I mean, sure. I mean, it's one thing to do it like week 7 in a meaningless regular season game, but it's another thing to do it when you have a chance to go to the freaking Super Bowl, man. There's a big time difference there. But diving on in. So, Lions kicker Michael Badgley, this is from Brad Spielberger, is 76.5% for his career between 40 and 49 yards and 46.7 from 50 plus, blah, blah, blah. So, yes, his field goals, which would have been, we'll get into it, but it would have been 40, 45 and 47, 48. So it's not automatic, right? So that's part and parcel of it too. But also, pointing out the Lions is from Yaya Dubin. Before tonight, the Lions went for it on 4th and 3 or less in plus territory on the other side of the field, 20 times in 24 opportunities, and converted on 17 of 20, 15 of 18 regular season, 2 playoffs, which is pretty good. Right. And the whole thing about it is that, well, Dan Campbell has faith in his offense. Maybe he thought that his defense was gassed, which kind of was towards the end. But also, you look at the overall historic numbers. Like, could you say that the Lions are just better at executing 4th and short? Sure. Could that have clouded what Dan Campbell thought about his team? Sure. But you look historically, like 4th and 2, 57.2%. I mean, so the Lions are definitely running above standard deviations, expectations, and 4th and 3, 47%. So, I mean, it's not a gimme either. Just like those field goals aren't gimmies. But the first one, I understand, and the first one I get, but I don't know. I feel like he should have kicked the first one. So scenario, third quarter, the 7:03 left in the third, they're up. They're leading 24-10 because remember, San Francisco came down, kicked a field goal, and zippity-doo-dah. But you still had a 2-touchdown lead, and it's 4th and 2 from the Niners 28, and it's a 45-yard field goal. So remember with Badgley, it's makeable, but it's certainly not a gimme. And if you make it, you go up 3 scores again, 27-10. You take momentum away. San Francisco was starting to feel itself a little bit, and blah blah blah. But if you convert, if you keep it moving, if you punch it in the end zone, you go up 31-10, and it goes a long way to put this game away. I wouldn't say it would be ball game because there's a lot of game left, but you feel pretty good. And then what happened is they drew up a great play. Josh Reynolds had the ball in his damn mitts. Now also, so Josh Reynolds went to Texas A&M. Is he only on the roster because Dan Campbell went to Texas A&M too? Is that it? Because Josh Reynolds adds nothing to this team. And also he had another big-time drop on 3rd and 10. He had several bad drops. But so Dan Campbell's being criticized here. But what more do you want? Like, Ben Johnson called a great play. It was in Reynolds' mitts. It would have been a first down. They would have kept it moving. And it's a lot like the like the Colts on fourth down against the Texans week 18. Where Steichen, yeah, he didn't have Jonathan Taylor Thomas in, but I mean, he threw to the backup running back, and he had it in his hands. He had the first down, but it didn't work out. But I think in this spot, I would have kicked the field goal because it's the shorter of the two. Well, of course, he didn't know that there was going to be a second opportunity later on in the game. But it seemed like in this spot, just take the points. No, a 45-yarder is not guaranteed. Yes, Jake Moody missed a 48-yarder in the first quarter, but of course, it's Jake freaking Moody of the Niners. But yeah, hindsight is always 20/20, but kick the field goal here, go back up 17, and go from there. But also at the same time, you could say that Reynolds should have caught this one. Second one's a little bit more dicey. Like, I understand this one. So 7:32 left in the game. They have the ball 4th and 3 at the Niners 30, and it would have been a 47-48 yarder to tie because they were down 27-24, and it was just because it's just a poorly executed play, and Jared Goff threw well short of Amon-Ra at about the 10, and yeah, and it's a spot where, so at this stage of the game, taking points, tying it up, still a lot of ball left, and immediately after this, the Lions defense was just that was probably a factor too of Campbell going for it in this spot. It's like, hey, let's keep this drive going. Let's eat up some clock. Let's try to punch it in, or at minimum, let's kick a closer field goal with less time remaining in the game, and we'll take our chances there. But I think Campbell did factor in that his defense was just getting gashed in that second half. 27 unanswered points, but I mean, because the Lions defense did let the Niners march 70 yards for a touchdown on 7 plays and burn off 4 minutes and 30 seconds of clock. So this one, I understand it. This one, I would have kicked the field goal. But the whole thing about it is, like, people act like Dan Campbell going for it is new. It's not. But also, both spots, there was a ton of football left. Right, and the defense could have stepped up. Gibbs could have not fumbled. Reynolds could have not dropped 2 key balls. The Lions defense could have not missed all of those tackles that they did. So, Dan Campbell's getting unfairly roasted. I think it's very unfair. Yeah, but I mean, were they close decisions? Sure, but he stuck to his guns, and I respect that. But sometimes you gamble and lose, and didn't work out this time, and it really sucks. But there were so many other factors that went into the Lions losing and losing poorly and blowing that game. But it was because with the drops, with the defense, with the fumbles, with missed tackles, everything. And Campbell's decision might have been like 7 in terms of the power rankings of reasons why the Lions lost in such horrible fashion. But it is what it is. Anyways, your thoughts are our thoughts. Should Dan Campbell have gone for it twice? ? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.